I'm Joey.
I'm Carleen.
And I'm Pete.
And this is Triple the Nonsense. Welcome back to another exciting week. How are we all doing? How are you two? Great.
That's how I feel.
That adequately sums up a lot of things right now.
How are you? Silence.
Hey, I should let someone else go first because I don't know how to vocalize this. Carleen makes fart sound. Me. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
It's just a lot of stuff going on. It's ridiculous right now. Oh.
It's almost like teaching nowadays is real challenging with COVID. Wild.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like we continue to progressively get harder as the more of COVID we get, and I'm not about that life.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a good time.
It's like we're living a real life Super Mario Bros. And the levels keep getting harder, and then sometimes there's new villains that throw hammers at you that you're not ready for. And then the music gets faster, and you're like, why is the music getting faster? And then there's jellyfish, and you're like, I think I'll be okay. And then the jellyfish sting you when you die.
You know, I wasn't sure where that was going to go where you started, but I was there with you the whole time. That's very accurate. Wow. Well, so we're all doing great. That's what I got. We're all doing fantastic. No issues.
Yeah, literally A+ material. I am if I had to use one word to describe me, it would be zen.
Zen. Oh, yes.
Yep.
That it would be a good word for you.
Because zen, I jumped out the window.
Oh, man.
Defenestrated.
Well, speaking of literally all of this, I think that's kind of a good segue into what the next 3 episodes are going to be about. So if you don't remember from us reminding you every podcast episode, is that every 3 episodes will have more or less a theme, and then each episode gets hosted by someone else about something else within that theme. So the first 3 episodes was interviewing us. So now interviewing is gone. And now the 3 episode arc coming up is we are labeling it as survival, and different levels of surviving different aspects of life. So today's episode, which is hosted by yours truly, Joey Hendricks, is going to be about how we survived the 2020 quarantine and sort of how we're still actively surviving COVID because, it's been almost 2 years and we're still here. Do y'all want to talk about the other 2 episodes, or should we make it a surprise?
Let's make it a surprise. I love surprises.
Okay. I mean,
Carleen,
he jumped in before I could, so
I get the vibe, Carleen. You're gonna be like, yeah, let's tell them.
I'm impulsive.
I mean, I'm the one that keeps the 2 of you in check. So what can I say?
You do your best.
Queen of the people. Okay, so I guess we're gonna keep it a mystery, but yes, these next 3 episodes are about survival in general. In today's episode, I'm just gonna be a broken record, is about surviving COVID/quarantine. So before we get started, do either of you have any questions or concerns about the fact that I'm hosting this first episode, or are we just ready? Are we zen?
I don't know, Joey. Are you throwing some questions at us? How's this gonna work?
Well, it's broken down into 2 segments because this is how my brain works. So the first segment is we're kind of open-ended. Just I want us to each kind of share our personal experiences with the 2020 lockdown quarantine that we're in. I'm thinking the time frame of March 2020 up to August, September-ish, because correct me if I'm wrong, I think all of our schools collectively went back in some form of in-person in the fall of 2020. At least I know my school went back hybrid. So the true lockdown was that gap of time, and then our country went, meh, we're fine. And then we all went back to doing in-person stuff. So we can kind of talk about our own experiences then. And then part 2, I've created a game revolving around COVID, which everyone's favorite thing to gamify is a deadly pandemic. So we're going to keep it fun while also discussing shared trauma. It's great. This is how we do it. So since I've obviously had more time to think about this because I'm the one hosting the episode and came up with the ideas. Do you want me to talk about my personal experience with like 2020 quarantine first, or do one of you want to hop in first, or do you want more time to think? I asked the same question like 5 different ways. I'm very sorry.
Well, I can say for me that 2020 quarantine was extremely hard for me. So when I left March 16th, 2020 to go on spring break, we really weren't sure, what was going to happen. We spent spring break, with family, all that. And then, I kept getting emails like, we're not going back. Make sure you have everything that you need and, be ready for the kids. Okay. And then they pushed it back another week. And then it kept getting longer. And I was really panicking for my kids in particular, because they are they were students that, sometimes school is their safe space, especially with working with students of multiple disabilities. It was really hard for me to know that I couldn't see my kids. For some of them, they thrived off of, being in my class and seeing me every day. So when all the computers and all that were distributed, I really didn't see many of them. Mm-hmm. And it broke my heart because I knew from that moment on, things were going to change as, that continued. And then going into summer, it was what are we going to do? We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. At that time, my brother was deemed a essential worker. So he was working all the time. And, I was at home and twiddling my thumbs. There was only so much I could do at home. And it was just very, hard for me because I am so family oriented that it was really hard not seeing my parents and not going to do things that I wanted to do or being with my friends. So, that for me was very difficult, at least at the start, that March, May timeframe, to even comprehend what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because it was unprecedented times.
Unprecedented times.
And now they're just sort of precedented. Still not a fan.
This precedent is not pleasant. I don't like it.
I did not set this precedent. I did not ask for this precedent. How dare you?
Right. Yeah. I'd like a new precedent, please.
This is not the one I ordered. Can you send it back?
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is not what I signed up for, actually. I didn't know what I was getting into. So, I would like to return this.
I don't like it.
I'll gladly pay a restocking fee.
Mm.
Yeah. If that's the case. Whatever it takes.
Of you.
I just want it to be returned. So my whole quarantine, my whole background's biology, microbes, pathogens. So I kind of saw it coming, and I told my colleagues and my students, I was like, they're sending us home for a long weekend. Plan on not coming back this year. I was like, it's not going to be under control. We're not going to be able to control it. I literally took microscopes home, books home, literally every single scientific device I would need for school. I took it home. Because I counted on because it's already spreading everywhere in the world. I was like, we're not special. We're humans, and it's going to spread through us like it has everywhere else in the world. So we're going to need to lock down. And I'm still frustrated we didn't lock down aggressively enough, but that's a personal opinion, but that's scientifically informed opinion. The rest of the year was mostly focused on, because I teach mostly seniors. So I was mostly just let's survive. Actually, when I was teaching environmental science, I tried keeping it lighthearted. I started a YouTube channel called Armageddon, Armageddon, but garden. So you're learning how to grow food from scrap food. That way you didn't need to go to the grocery store. You can grow your own stuff. Lettuce actually grows really fast. A lot of things you can grow from scrap food really fast. And so some of my students stayed engaged in that online learning when they didn't, because our school was your grade won't go lower, just try to get higher. So a lot of students were like, oh, I'm good then because I'm passing. But some of them stayed engaged because I was like, here, you can grow stuff from scraps. And here's some fun things you can do. I actually got Tick-Tock to keep my students engaged at the beginning of quarantine. So like it kind of changed me, who I am a lot as a person. And then summer came and I realized summer, that first summer was really hard because like the year before that I suffered like an incredible loss. And I had like in the late winter of like January, February of 2019, right? 2020. I was like getting my head back on straight and I was like ready to start being social again. And it's like, psych, we're locking it down. I was like,
stay inside.
Oh man, I really wanted to like see my friends and stuff and do things. I was gonna go see Wicked. My heart. Didn't get a chance to. I was really bummed about it. I had one of my students he's in some theater program in Detroit, and like he was super excited. It's like a red carpet event, and I was stoked for it.
Aww.
And it didn't get to happen. So like a lot of things really bummed me out. So I went through like a pretty dark stage at the beginning of that summer. Because I just like, life is so unfair. But then I bought a house and decided plants are my life now. This is what I'm gonna do. Because I love plants, I love nature, like it's my happy place. So I did a lot of hiking that summer and started landscaping and like preparing my house for all that. And then when the fall came back, my school is actually fully online still.
Oh wow.
But luckily, like the entire staff at the school was like freaking out. But because of like all the teachers at Tick-Tock getting all their tech tips out there, the day before school, I was out kayaking with a friend of mine who had just retired from teaching. And my department was like, you weren't there for us, the group chat. How could you just not help us? And I wasn't even like department head back then. I was just like, listen, I was preparing all summer. Like I'm feeling good. So I'm going to come into school like with an actually pretty relaxed feeling because all these wonderful teachers on Tick-Tock helped me figure out how to navigate this. And like for that, I'm super grateful. And we stayed online, I think through the middle of the third semester. And then we let kids come back if they wanted to. We each had like 4 kids in the classroom and that was it. Whereas normally like 30, 35.
Well, and that's interesting that you like how long you stayed online. I know for my district, we started the next school year online, and then we slowly brought different grades into the building. So like all the kiddos that were in a self-contained program came back first because they needed the most,
that made the most sense.
Used to, getting, back into the groove of things. And then like the younger kids, K1, 2, 3, and it just trickled down. High school was the last 4 grades to get back on campus. Oh, I find it really interesting, hearing when you went back to possibly how Joey, you went back.
Yeah, mine's very different from all that. So I'll start with this. I went into 2020 like the most optimistic I've ever been. I was like, this is my year. I'm going to get into a financially great place. Like socially, life's going to be good. My best friend Sarah and I had planned a trip to go to London in April, and I had a ticket to see Harry Styles at the O2. And then,
boom,
everything came crashing down around me, and I was like, "What's happening?" So yeah, our school did a similar thing where it's like we were told, "Hey, we're going to go online for 2 weeks." But before that happened, our superintendent met with like all the schools individually, being like, "Hey, so this is the plan. Bring everything for the rest of the year just in case." And we were like, ooh, I don't think we're going back. And in case you forgot, I'm a band teacher, and teaching band and music online is kind of impossible.
Sounds awful.
Because like we didn't like know how to do it. Obviously, no one knew how to teach completely remote online. And for the last school year, we were able to get some more online tools to help us. But from March 2020 to June, like it was just kind of like figure it out. So like I myself was making like tracks for my kids to use to record themselves. And like I would listen to the song and like make a snap click track along so they could use that, or like gave them a recording in the same tempo and was like, use that.
You literally made yourself a metronome?
Absolutely. For every song.
Wow. Good on you.
Every song we ended up recording, I like made my own metronome tracks because I could have figured out how to use it in via program, but I was like, I don't trust myself to learn that technology. We're just going to snap into a mic and follow along.
It's only to be for a minute.
One of the songs was like 8 minutes, so it was less fun.
I mean, like for a minute of like time, like in the school year, like, oh, I won't have to do this very long. Yeah. So we like figured that out. We got a couple of songs like put together for like, I think I got them done like July. I was like, don't expect this by the end of the school year. It's a lot. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. And like some classes worked okay online. We were able to get all of my guitar kids like their school guitars to send home. So like I just had them mute themselves and I was like, follow me. And like I couldn't hear them, but like they could participate. So like we kind of really did our best to make it through the year. I don't know about your schools, but our faculty really did our best to like try to lift the student spirits as best we can. So we made like an at-home like music video of all the faculty to give to the kids after our April vacation. And I personally, for all of our graduating band seniors, I was like, hey, underclassmen, send me a video like thanking the seniors. And I put together this nice like farewell video for them, which I showed them on their last day, and half of them cried. And I was like, ooh, too many emotions. Emotional damage.
Emotional damage. Well, because that senior class, the class of 2020, was my very first group of freshmen, my first year teaching. So I was like, they were the first grade I had all 4 years. So like I was extra emotional being like, this is not how I expected your senior year to go. And then so normally in the summer, like I work at a middle school theater camp and then a different middle school like band camp. And I like keep myself busy over the summer and do all the music things because hello, nerd. But obviously summer of 2020, nothing happened. So like Carleen, kind of similar to what you said, I was kind of just like at home twiddling my thumbs, not knowing what to do. I logged a lot of hours in Animal Crossing. I was legit scared to leave my apartment, like even like sit on my porch and get sun. Like I was like, I'm not going outside, COVID, like horrified. I kind of became like agoraphobic. It was dope. Look up that word if you don't know what it means. And so our school, like they they like didn't give us a firm plan until maybe early to like second-ish week of August. And we typically go back the first week of September. So like all summer, like I didn't really plan. I was kind of in denial, being like, oh no, we're going to go back remote. I'll just do the same stuff again. It sucks, but like whatever. So like early-ish August, like I had some meeting with administration, things were being figured out. And they're like, okay, we're going to go hybrid. So on Mondays Mondays and Thursdays, kids with last name A through L go to school. And then Tuesdays and Fridays, kids with last names M through Z, that alphabet was wrong, whatever, go to school. And then when they're not at school, they're like on the Google Meet on your computer. So you're teaching both at the same time. And Wednesdays are remote. And it was just a mess.
That's
a bad
horrible.
model.
Like I thought teaching remote would be the worst teaching experience of my life. Teaching hybrid was the worst teaching experience of my whole life.
I'm lucky awful. I never had to do hybrid in 2020. In 2021, I had to because of kids wanting to be online and
right.
And because I'm a special ed teacher, I kind of had to provide the services, but it was like it was a nightmare.
Yeah. And I had some kids who stayed fully remote year round. So there are some freshmen who like wouldn't put their camera on for the most part, who I just met for the first time this year in person because like they were fully remote their full freshman year. But get this, the guidelines for band and music and chorus in general, when we started the school year in September of 2020, was that you had to be outside 14 feet apart, still wearing masks and stuff in order to play. So from September to like mid-November, we really pushed it. We were out on the basketball court, 14 feet spread apart, but like every other cohort. So it was anywhere from like 3 to like 10 kids, depending on the day, like on the basketball court, 14 feet apart, trying to learn music. But how can you do that when like half of the band's not there? Like it was awful. And then when we like were forced to be inside because I live in Maine and like winter starts in like October, like we still couldn't play inside. So I was like, let's turn these holiday songs into percussion ensemble. We're all just going to play percussion and like really made it work best we could. I remember our school board was like, I think we can go all in November. And we were like, no, we can't. Which we did. We ended up going all in. And I think April of 2020. No, we started May of 2021. We went all in. But like it was just like I did myself best to keep myself sane at home. Like TikTok kind of saved me. I only got into TikTok because of quarantine.
Yeah.
And so that kind of saved me. My sister and I like did a scavenger hunt with like some people she was friends with in California. It was great. But like it was a lot of learning how to entertain myself and how to make online friends. It was great.
So Joey, you had two stories that reminded me of things. So the first one, you mentioned your seniors like getting the gift from the freshmen. One of my like rituals with seniors is I have a wall that's covered in chalkboard paint, and I have my seniors sign the chalkboard wall.
Aww.
And so they did before like quarantine hit, obviously. And then I made an Instagram post that was like, class of 2020 senior skip day all-time champions.
I love that.
That's incredible.
Because there's no class that's ever going to beat them for missing days their senior year.
That many days. That's true.
Yeah. And then the other one was when you said like you haven't seen some of your kids' faces in a long time. I help with the football team. And last year, like we were still playing football, even though like we were completely online. And of course, the students all had their cameras off and everything. And I went to football practice, and one of my kids, like in the first week, was like, "Yo, Mr. K, it's me." And I was like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Yo, it's Rel." And I was like, "I've never seen your face online." And he was wearing he had like his helmet on with a visor and a mask over his face. And I was like, and I still can't currently see your face, even though we're face to face right now. I have no idea what you look like.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, sad, but also incredible.
Yeah. So it's a joke that he and I have. He's actually a student again in my class this year.
Mm-hmm.
He actually like logs on and does all of his work. Like he's a good kid. Like
we love that.
But it's a nice like joke. I could be like, remember that time you were like, "Hey, it's me," and I was like, "I've never seen your face and still currently can't see your face."
That's cool. Who?
Classic Pete. So Joey, you kind of sparked a question in me, because you mentioned, how TikTok was kind of your, saving grace through quarantine. When did you start TikTok? And Pete, this can go for you too.
Great question. Love you. My students convinced me to download TikTok probably January of 2020, but I never opened it. And like, I would occasionally get notifications. I was like, whatever, TikTok. Like I never opened them. And then like maybe like late February, early March-ish, I would occasionally open it and be like, okay, I kind of get it. These are kind of funny, fine. But then like quarantine happened, and then like you can only play so many hours of Animal Crossing before getting bored. And it was like, okay, let's look into this TikTok. And so it became like, now what is a nightly ritual of just like mindlessly scrolling TikTok. And I was like, oh, I get it. And then like, I think late March, early April, I like started making TikToks, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And then it's just, and here we are. There was a time, a solid 8 months, I posted 3 TikToks a day. Like I was like real into it. Yeah, I like would set timers and like have like whole like lists written out of like TikToks I wanted to make. Like now it's just like, is this a funny sound? I'm on the couch. Post like way less effort now. But like because I was so bored and nothing else to do, like my life was on pause. I couldn't play any work, didn't have any jobs to do in person. I was just like, let's be a TikToker. So like that's kind of where I went with it real fast.
So I was never like Mr. Social Media guy. I was much more like gonna go hang out outside and do nature-y things.
What's outside?
Surprise.
Is it safe?
It turns out it's actually safer than inside. As long as there's no people there. When there's people outside, you're just like, ew, why are you here? But my students, they were dead set on trying to get me to learn the Renegade Dance. And I was like, yo, I don't dance. Like, in case you guys didn't know that, I'm not a dancer.
Oh, that's a throwback. The Renegade.
Yeah. And then this is also back when I had my red and purple mohawk.
Right. I forgot about that phase.
My first several TikToks, and I started off my TikTok like being like, oh, I'll treat it like Instagram. It'll be about my dog toast. Because this is important. So my very first TikTok was me with my red and purple mohawk doing "Who Let the Dogs Out" and me blaming my dog.
Dude, my first TikTok, do you remember that sound that was like the music and then it went run and like whatever?
Yeah.
My first TikTok was that sound with my cat. I just had a toy off camera, like making him look weird. Like,
Oh, I
same-
did that. When I grab Toast leash, he likes to like run away to his toy box and grab a toy box and like thrash it around. Like, I don't want to go for a walk, but he really wants to go for a walk. And he's still like, I just said walk and he's right next to me. So that was a bad idea.
Yikes.
Like his ears
my
are
gosh.
just like, what?
No, I'm trying to think. I think my first video or TikTok that I posted was like the sound was like, I am here, ready, like that, like obnoxious, like computer sound.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh.
It's the fact that I can factually say I've been making TikToks for almost 2 years is wild.
Yeah.
And the fact that COVID's been a word that's commonly a phrase for almost 2 years.
is
Like, I remember
upsetting.
early March, one of my advisees, who was a junior at the time, was like, Hendrix, do you think like it's going to happen to us? And I was like, we're in Maine. It's not going to get up here now. We're fine. And
You
then,
were wrong.
Oh,
So-
you sweet summer child.
and then the last 3 regular days of school before the lockdown, I was out horribly sick. And I went to the doctors like 3 times because it was so novice there and like tests didn't exist. They like tested me for flu and strep twice, which came back negative every time. Like, well, you probably don't have it. And I was like, what if I do? To this day, I don't know. I might have had COVID back then. Who knows? I never got the antibody test because I'm dumb. So it's
That's
wild
what-
times.
That's what my parents had mentioned. They mentioned early on in 2020 that they like felt horribly like ill.
Yeah.
And to this day, they think that they ended up getting it pretty early. But
Mhm.
they didn't, there was no test. So they can't really
Mhm.
say that they've had it, but they're really thinking that, that could be a possibility of what happened.
No one knew what was going on. I mean,
Nope.
some people did, but like the vast majority of people didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So, crazy times. Well, my friends, I think we've reached that time. It's the game portion of the episode.
I think we're ready to play.
I
I
might
think we
put-
are.
I might put game show music underneath this. Haven't decided yet. So- to steal the Family Feud. Da da da. Copyright? No, I won't. Okay.
Oh man.
So, for those of you listening and watching, which I hope's a lot of people, because this podcast is very fun.
We're pretty
Before
dope.
we started, I did ask Pete and Carleen to get something to write with, and/or they could use their phone to write down answers, as long as they promise not to look up any answers. And you know what? I'm feeling in the silly, goofy mood. So, Carleen and Pete, could you please raise your right hand?
We're really gonna do this.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. We just talked a lot about COVID and traumas coming back, so I want to laugh. So, repeat after me. I state your name.
I state
Hi,
your name.
Carleen.
I knew Pete was going to do that. Promise that I will not cheat.
Promise
Promise
that I will not cheat.
not cheat.
And if I cheat,
And,
And
if
if I
I
cheat-
cheat,
Joey gets custody of Toast in 2023, no matter where Pete is.
Joey gets custody of Toast in
I-
2023, no matter where he is.
Pete, if you don't cheat, it's not an issue.
I'm not going to cheat, but I don't agree because, like, what if Carleen cheats now? You and Carleen could have conspired against me, so you get to have
Well,
Toast.
we're not you.
We're not
Jessica
you.
would murder both of you if that happened.
We're not you.
Just be aware of that.
Fine. Amendment. That won't happen. It's just a funny joke.
That won't happen. It's just a funny joke.
Great, we did it.
We did it! Yay!
So that's the game. Just kidding. So the way
Did I
that this
win?
game, no, the way that this game works is most, if not all of the answers have either a date or a number as the answer. Once I read the question, you'll write down what you think.
Great.
The goal is sort of like Price is Right. You want to get as close to or the exact number without going over. So if whoever's closest without going over, or like for the dates, like past the date kind of thing.
Okay.
Whoever does not go higher or over gets the point. I haven't decided what happens to the winner yet. We'll figure it out. We'll go from there.
Okay.
Do we have any questions before we begin?
No, I feel pretty good about it because we all know Pete's memory
Touche.
is not
But
the best.
however, I do have a weird thing with numbers.
Oh, great.
Fun side story. Related to numbers, and then we'll get into the game. So,
Fair,
like,
fair.
when back in my investigator days, I had to go to Texas to meet with my team of investigators that I was running. And while in Texas, I lost my wallet because I was irresponsible and had no ID, no credit cards, nothing. and I had just I lost it on the first day, and I had to go from Dallas to Houston, from Houston back to Dallas, get on a plane and fly back to Michigan. And I was able to do all of that because I've memorized my driver's license number, my credit card number, the CVV values on the backside, my bank account numbers, and obviously my social number because of college and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, like I went to the bank. I was like, yo, I need to pull out some cash because I don't have my cards. And they like, I went through the little process. They were like, oh yeah, you got all the numbers in your head, so it must be you. So I was able to pull out money from the bank with no ID. And then I was able, I got to the airport 4 hours early, and I was like, I might never go home. And rattled off all the numbers. They swabbed me for bomb residue, and it took 15 extra minutes to get through security, and that was it.
So long story short, Pete's talking a big game, so he hopes not to lose.
I'm definitely going to lose still. But I have a bad memory, but I have a weird thing for numbers.
Okay, well, we will put that memory to the test. Question, and also for those who are watching, I'm an old man in a young person's body, and I did this all on paper and not like a digital way, like a normal person my age, but that's fine. So question 1. How many U.S. citizens adopted a pet since the beginning of the pandemic? Closest without going over. It can either be a ratio or a number. Your call.
We're talking about U.S. citizen individuals, or like how many
households.
Pets have been adopted?
I should have said households.
Okay.
So technically pets adopted.
Okay.
I will stall as you think and write answers. I forgot to explain this before, but I think you understand. All of these questions do have to do about COVID and quarantine and stuff because we're keeping on brand. We love keeping on brand.
So
how many U.S. citizens adopted a pet since the beginning of the pandemic? I almost read the answer.
Okay.
And then do we show you our answer?
Yes, please show me your answer,
Oh.
or tell me and show at the same time because it's a
Okay.
podcast. So like also speak.
Okay. Go ahead, Pete.
I said 25 million.
25 million. Okay.
I said 15 million.
15 million. Wow. This is exciting. So technically Pete was closer, but he went over. So Carleen gets the point.
Hey.
The correct-
Oh, the eternal optimist.
The correct answer is approximately 23 million. So you're very close.
Oh,
Pete,
I was very close.
which is roughly 1 in 5 households. And fun fact, I was going to make this a bonus question, but I'd rather just throw a fun fact in there.
I like that.
90% of the dogs are still with their owners. They were not brought back to the shelter, and 85%
Yay!
and
Aw.
85% of the cats are still with the family. Were not brought back to shelter. So pretty good
Yay.
statistics. We love animals.
We do
and
love
that-
animals.
And I wanted to start lighthearted because now it gets more real. So are we ready for question 2?
Yeah.
It's probably where I'm going to do better.
Okay, fair. What date did the World Health Organization declare that coronavirus was a pandemic? So closest date without going past the correct date is the goal.
I'm trying to think.
Fun fact, it was not 1992.
Oh, I was going to guess exclusively 1992. And that was it.
Yo, I thought I'd help you out. Sorry. All right, you got your answers?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Carleen, show first this time.
Okay. I don't know why this stuck out in my head. I said March 25th, 2020.
March 25th. Okay.
I said
Peter
March
Louise?
12th, 2020.
March 12th. Wow. Here's the fun thing. You both went over. But to keep the game interesting, I will give the point to Pete because it was March 11th, 2020.
Oh, man.
Why did I forget that? Oh my God.
What's funny? What's funny is you even said how you like went remote in March 16th. So you said March 25th. I was like,
no, and then
did they declare it after we went home?
No, and then I realized.
Oh, a week after, you're like,
No,
Oh, by the
it's
way,
real. No.
Hello. No, my spring break. Okay, my friend Olivia's birthday is on the 11th, and her and I hung out for her birthday. That was the final time I saw her. And then everything like went. So that was my spring break.
Wow, you're a bad
is
friend. You
Olivia's
should have
fault.
remembered. You should have remembered that. You're a bad
Olivia, I'm so
Wow.
sorry when you listen to this.
friend.
Olivia, I was closer than Carleen was.
So this one actually has a bonus question that is not a fun fact. It's just a bonus question. So bonus question 2A, essentially. So March 11th was when the World Health Organization declared it. When did Donald Trump declare it a national emergency? Hint, it was not March 11th. All right, we have our answers?
No, I'm still trying to think.
All right. Don't say March 25th.
All right, I think I'm gonna go with that. Okay.
All right. Pete, what do you think?
I said never with a frowny face because I'm unhappy about it.
Well, that's wrong because he did
I accept
declare
it.
it.
Yeah, I accept that it's the wrong answer, but I just had to put the frowny face on there. So
Okay, that's fair. Carleen, what'd you say?
March 19th.
March 19th. I'm awarding no bonus points. It was March 13th. So it only took him 2 days after the Who did. And then we withdrew, but that's a different conversation. All right. So the score is 1-1. I should keep track. I should be a good game show host. I'll keep track next to where I wrote down Armageddon so I can remember to look that up later.
it's a very short-lived YouTube channel because I stopped once the school year ended.
You know, that's fair, but I still want to experience joy. So
Okay.
I will...
and it does give good growing tips for food crafts.
I'm excited.
Joey, didn't you have a not short-lived YouTube channel?
Yeah, for a year, but I took all the videos down. I have them on a hard drive. That's a different episode day, I guess.
Oh, mine is.
Oh my gosh,
mine are
we
still
could
up.
we could react to some of them. Okay, write it down. Anyways, episode question number 3. What date did Donald and Melania Trump get COVID? Again, try not to go over, or I guess past the date. Pete, if you say never with a frowny face again, I swear.
Now I got a better answer.
Okay.
What, all the time?
Pete doesn't even want to win. He just wants to make jokes.
When doesn't he?
Listen. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose laughing.
That's fair. That's valid.
Yeah.
That's how I live my life.
Well, now you just got to remember that for your. Does the loser have to do something, Joey?
Oh, yeah,
Or is
we
it
haven't
just
figured
the
that out
winner?
yet. We'll figure it out.
Loser has to laugh a lot. Done and done.
You already
love
do that.
All right, Carleen, what date did you say?
I said October 2nd.
October 2nd. Okay. Peter
I
first.
said July 4th. LOL.
Carleen, I'm very impressed because the correct date was October 3rd of 2020.
Hey, that was a complete guess.
That's another point for Queen Carleen.
Well earned. Well earned. I
Well
stand by
earned.
my joke.
I mean,
know
that was
you
a good
do.
joke. That was good. All right. Question number 4. Which was the first United State to have a confirmed case of COVID? Also, my eyes twitching for some reason. Am I okay? Is it because I spoke? Is it because I spoke the name Donald Trump multiple times?
Multiple times. And without making a joke. I'm surviving because I was like, LOL.
Laughing away my trauma. All right. Do we
Also,
have
I chose
answers?
America's birthday for the day that he got COVID because that was intentional.
We got the joke. All right. If you explain it, it makes it not funny anymore.
I'm old. That's what old people do.
Touche. All right.
Yeah.
Pete, what state did you say?
I said Washington.
Okay. How about you, Carleen?
I said California.
Well, Peter for Louise is exactly correct. It was Washington State.
Boom.
I believe Seattle too. I think the guy lived in Seattle. I read about it, but forgot to write it down. So my bad. All right. Final question. So right now we're tied 2-2.
Wow.
So whoever gets this, if only one of you gets the next one right, that person takes all the marbles. If not, I'll have to figure something out. All right. So do you remember the fleeting but incredible YouTube channel called Some Good News with John Krasinski? What? Wow, this just okay. We're not.
You
friends
can't
anymore.
start a question off with "Do you remember?" and expect me to be like, "Oh, yeah."
How did you not watch Some Good News with John Krasinski? He saved my psyche during quarantine. Jeez Louise. He like sat in a suit in his house and he told only positive news from the world because everyone was so negative. And then he would stand up at the end and be like, "Oh, I'm
right."
No, it was a YouTube channel. He did a whole series.
Yeah, but why do I feel like I've also seen him on TikTok?
I mean, people probably posted them to TikTok. Like, I'm sure that's existed. Oh, I'm the most upset. Everyone, if you're listening, stop it. Stop listening right now. These two are a disgrace to America. Well, anyways, I thought everyone in their mother
try. Give us the question.
The question is, how many episodes of Some Good News did he do? I'm so sad.
Just leaves it up to random chance.
No matter what
like it.
No matter what, you both lose and I win just for not remembering.
Hold on. I bet you if we can make you laugh with the answer, do we get a point?
I'll consider. I'm
okay.
upset.
He is. For those who are just watching, for those who are not watching, Joey is really upset with us right now.
I'm pretty upset. I'm just,
like,
what?
He's fuming.
Listen, I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
Okay. I'll do my best to make it up to you.
Okay, what are your dumb answers?
Carleen, you want to go first? All right,
it's
fine.
First.
Okay, Pete, go for it.
69.
This is a PG podcast. I'm cutting that. I will leave
the video.
That's fine. I will keep where I say it's a PG podcast. I am not putting that in the audio version. How dare you? Carleen, you are
I accept my disqualification.
250?
Okay, he did 9. You're both the worst.
I was way closer.
No, you both lose. I'm the official winner because I actually this is not how I expected the episode to go, but I'm factually upset. It's fine.
Wait, well, if you won that round, you got 1 point, so you're still the loser.
You still lose.
No, but I know what Some Good News by John Krasinski is, so factually, I'm living a better life than both of you.
You did not show.
Listen, I was able to
go outside. You're talking to two people who like do other things.
You were on the internet in quarantine of 2020. He did it during lockdown.
But I was not on YouTube. I was doing TikTok. What do you?
Everyone I knew also posted it on Facebook and posted it on TikTok, and it was literally everywhere. How did you not? Whatever. I'm over it. I'm not.
I hung out in the woods by myself with my dog.
That's valid. Okay. Anyways, well, I really hope you all enjoyed this first episode about surviving. We had some laughs. We had some real feels. I'm fuming. But one thing. And I don't remember if you two remember this, but I did, and I wrote it down. So when you hear this episode, tomorrow is the beginning of Black History Month. So a good friend of ours in a TikTok live recently, it was Janae, right?
Yeah.
Janae suggested, she was like, hey, at the end of your podcast episodes in February, you should end it with a fun Black History Month fact. And we were like, that's a great idea. We're also going to start it in January because we love Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. We love it. It should be celebrated all the time, not just February. But since I'm hosting, I have a fact, and I think it's fun. It's a multi-layered fact because I'm a nerd. So it starts with a question. Have you heard of and/or ever had Famous Amos cookies?
Yes.
So Famous Amos Cookies, that company was created by African-American entrepreneur Wally Amos, and so they're named after him, naturally. He opened the first Famous Amos store in 1975 before Keebler purchased the brand from him in 1998, but kept him on as the spokesperson. However, there's more to him. Not only did Wally Amos create great cookies, he was also one of, if not the first, Black talent agent, and he's the one who signed Simon and Garfunkel.
Wow.
Fun facts. And I loved digging into all of these things I did not know.
That's pretty cool.
I could have shown up today with 35 facts, but we're picking one. So for the whole month of February and January 31st, we'll be ending each podcast episode with a fun fact. So go donate to any charity that supports Black Lives Matter. We're going to post some in our descriptions as well for options that you could go donate to, because things still need to change for the better, and that's what we're here to promote.
Yes.
Amongst all the nonsense, is still helping is the most important thing. So Does anyone have any other final thoughts other than the fact that I'm still severely disappointed in both of you for not knowing what some good news is?
Remember, guys, you guys can catch us on social media, on TikTok, Instagram, all the things. Instagram is Triple the Nonsense Podcast. TikTok is Triple the Nonsense. You can follow the three of us on our personal social media accounts. Remember, we post every Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern time with a YouTube video unedited of the podcast at the same time. So we all appreciate those who have been listening thus far. And please send us, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, thoughts and ideas for future episodes. And you might even get a shout out here or there for one of your ideas being used. So
we do love what you guys think. You guys are all brilliant.
And speaking of shout outs, I'm so happy you said that. If you listen on Spotify, there's always going to be a featured question on Spotify about if that will relate to the episode. So if you answer any of those questions, we'll start the episode by reading through some of them and you'll get a shout out. So we've had a couple already. We're not going to do that yet though, because we want more. So and interact on the Spotify. We'll ask the same questions on our TikTok and you can answer them there. So yeah, all of the things. So on that final note, I'm Joey.
I'm Carleen.
And I'm Pete.
And this is Triple the Nonsense, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.